Your lack of subject matter expertise isn't because you're lazy. It's because you don't understand the C word. Not that one, you weirdos. I'm talking about consistency. What you do over time may change, but how you do it is always effective by how often you do it. Hi, I'm Cody, and I talk about the Army National Guard and leadership and fatherhood. If you're into that sort of thing, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you like the t-shirt, Demoralizingly Motivating, then there's a link in the description. So back to it. For instance, while we're in school, we have to study for our success. Then when we hit the workforce, we have to train to our job and then continue to do the job to get better at it and then learn the job above us to keep excelling. I had a marksmanship coach give me some good advice once, and it was good for marksmanship, but it also applied to life. He said, everything counts, but none of it matters. What the hell does that mean? Let me explain. The key determining factors of what we do when we're trying to accomplish something are the small things. The small things are the most important because they're the building blocks for other larger tasks. For example, in marksmanship, every trigger squeeze, every breath, every sight picture is what counts. It may not feel like it in the moment, but with enough repetition, you're gonna get good at it. Everything down to what you eat the night before. If you have a clean meal and a good night's sleep, that's gonna result in a better day for you. But if you're just sloshing back beers, eating greasy food, and don't sleep that much, you're gonna have a tough day on the range. So now we understand that the small things are significant. So why don't they matter? Because what actually matters in life are the big ticket items, the metrics, the goals accomplished, the outcomes. Did you graduate? Did you qualify with your weapon? Did you get a job? No one actually cares about your weird morning routine that gives you mental clarity. And also, nobody cares about excuses. Nobody cares that you stayed up all night drinking or playing video games. What they care about is the outcome. Did you perform? You can always explain or give excuses about why things didn't go well, but did you deliver? If the answer is no, sometimes there's no redo. There's no reset button, there's no time machine. You either did or you didn't. So it doesn't matter. Doing what counts is an internal process. It requires internal understanding and self-discipline, and it requires consistency. So by now you're either fired up to learn about consistency, or you're wondering, well, if everything counts and none of it matters, so what the hell are we even talking about? When I finally realized after 3 decades that consistency is the key, I realized I had no control over it. I always felt like deep down that I knew that there was some consistency and discipline in me, but I couldn't really access it. I was disciplined in some areas, but not that overall mastery that I wanted. And we always want to buy a solution. Like, we know the keys to losing weight is to eat less and move more. So why is that so hard to do? The key is, on these things that we know deep down that we have to do them every day. And that kind of gets hard. But how many things are we leaving to chance? How many tests have you failed where you were just as surprised about the outcome as your parents were? Because you didn't study. But if we study, really immerse ourselves in whatever material we're in, it becomes impossible to fail. It becomes impossible to fail because we actually know the material. And that's with all things in life. Something that we do every day becomes part of you. Rehearsal builds muscle memory. When we make complementary tasks repeatable and we do it every day, it just becomes what we do. And it guarantees success. Childhood trauma can actually stunt consistency. If a child grows up in an inconsistent environment, it is very hard for them to understand the cause and effect of consistency. And when we as parents don't teach our kids consistency by modeling it, how's a kid supposed to know? How are they supposed to learn that studying is important? How are they supposed to know that the more they practice, they get, better at whatever they're doing? That was my experience anyway. My parents didn't really model consistency, and they had a brutal divorce when I was 10. So I would move around to different schools and everything, and I didn't bother studying for the test because I might not even be there for the test. I was enrolled in 3 different schools in the 6th grade. No consistent friends, no routines, and no model to study. I had no structure at all, and my consistency muscle was weak because it had never been exercised. It wasn't until I was already an adult, going through several different Army courses, and what's awesome about the internet is YouTube videos, that I realized something. Consistency in the right areas lead to success. So the big question is, what doesn't matter in your life? And what little tasks should you be doing to reach your goals? It's good to identify where we are putting our consistency in places that don't matter, and then move them to places that do matter to really see some success. One thing that I've worked on lately is the process of energy management. And that's kind of what I'm talking about here, is take it from one to build another. So if you have a hobby that is not profitable, but you want to be making money, guess where your time needs to go? Whatever else you're working on that's more important. A good tip that I've come across for energy management is the or, not, and method. It is when you have two tasks that you want to complete and you decide, I'm going to do this one or I'm going to do this one. Too many times we get overwhelmed and over encumbered because we say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. For example, I'm going to clean the garage and I'm going to get my reports done for work. That's going to lead you to burnout. Instead, what we want to do is say, I'm going to get my reports done for work because that's my priority number one. And once that's complete, then I'm going to do the garage. Because when we're trying to do too much, what ends up happening is we get started on one task and then get started on the next task. Later on, we're staying up late, trying to finish both of them, trying to juggle and multitask. Then we're losing sleep. And then we're not setting ourselves up for the next day, and we still have incomplete tasks. Consistency is the C word that is going to take you to your goals. And remember, everything counts, but none of it matters until you show up consistently.